2 years ago, you left your body. Someone in this body left the body, and a different soul came into the body. Yes, and you remember that.
Yes.
Yeah, I just appreciate you coming out to answer our questions.
You're welcome.
Yeah, a lot of people really loved the last video, and were moved by it, and had some wonderful things to say. So
thanks. Yes, I read all the comments, and it meant a lot. Anyone who watched it and commented, and it's very hard being vulnerable. That was a state of vulnerability that I hadn't stepped into yet. So watching it go viral, a little scary.
Yeah.
Seeing comments a little scary, but also it was okay. Like, I knew it was okay.
It has 2.6 thousand views. Like, how many people would be around us right now, like watching us? Hello, 2,000.6 people.
That's a lot of people. I had my experience on January 6, 2022, and coming into a body, even though I remembered a lot, I was also left with like, is that really what happened? Am I crazy? That kind of thing. And by the summer, I understood who I was and what was going on, because I didn't really have the words yet to truly express, because it was so weird and different. About a year after the experience, I did share with a friend that is further along, like being in this sort of realm of spirituality or whatever, I don't know, all this stuff that I didn't know about before.
Yeah.
And she didn't really understand it, and so I thought, all right, I need to dial it back. I'm not going to really talk about it. It was about 8 months later, there was someone who had written a book about being a walk-in, and he saw, like, we were on a Zoom call together, and he looked at me on the Zoom call and said, "Are you a walk-in?"
Wow.
And that was when my heart just sank into my stomach. I was like, yeah, like I had never actually admitted it to anybody else out loud.
Wow.
And that was just this past August. Since then, I've met one other walk-in who did the same through Twitter. He was like, "I see you're a walk-in."
Wow.
And then there's been one more lady. Well, I started going to a near-death experience support group, and so I've been there twice. And the last time I went, there was a lady who told a small group right before I told everyone. She said, "Oh, she's a walk-in," because she's also a walk-in. Being identified in that way, it was very empowering, because I didn't really, if those three things hadn't happened, I would not have had the gumption, I suppose, to say it out loud. I trust in the signs and synchronicities in life, and so I just knew that based on the initial reaction, that was not the time to share that part of my story yet. And I wasn't sure if it ever would come back around. So you and I, we had met before, but we saw each other at that event that I hadn't been to in a long time. I didn't know you were doing this YouTube video stuff. I hadn't seen your channel, but when you asked me, I just knew. I was like, actually, this is why I'm here tonight. It was to see you that night. Because I was not supposed to be there. And it was about an hour before that it even was possible that I was going to go. Like, all this crazy stuff had happened, and it all lined up perfectly. But still, I didn't tell you about the walk-in.
Yeah, I had no idea.
That thing.
Yeah.
And I mean, I really struggled from the moment that you asked me to when we actually started the talk.
Wow.
Like, I really was going back and forth, because I'll be honest with you, like, it's not really what I wanted. I didn't really necessarily want to bring that into the story, because I've told the story lots and lots of times but leaving the walk-in part out.
Easy to leave out.
The only reason I've left it out, and it's the question that had the most likes on or whatever, it's my children. The depth of love and my soul for these two humans that were created. I mean, I love them with all my heart and soul. And what happened was, I thought I had done a very good job of protecting them from what I considered to be like sort of a scary truth that I didn't really want to admit to them. But in October, my daughter, she just turned 23. My son's about to be 21. I'm sorry. She said that that she's had to mourn the woman, the woman who used to be her mom. And she was really struggling because I am so different. And I still haven't told them the words walk in, but they just know I'm like a new soul, new spirit.
Wow.
But I haven't like labeled it for them.
Wow.
So I don't know, maybe one day I'm sure they'll see this and hope they can forgive me.
Oh. Can I hug you?
Yeah. Because I've really tried to be the mom that they knew. I can't even tell you how much I've tried. And what I had to explain was that I don't remember all of it. So I'm left with the memories, but also there's a lot of stuff I don't remember.
From the life that you weren't here for.
Yeah.
Okay.
And like one of the things I don't remember how to do, I don't remember how to cook.
Oh.
I'm really bad at cooking.
Really?
And I used to cook big meals every night.
Wow.
And now I don't cook. I just heat things up with my microwave because I burn everything.
Wow.
I'm
a non-linear being trying to cook on a stove.
So dumb. I'm like, oh my God. I have to go to the grocery store and like spend time looking for stuff. And then I have to like put it in the fridge. And then, Sammy, I have to figure out, like, I have to measure it, and then I have to cut it up.
Yeah.
And then
it's a lot to
it gets
do.
worse. You have to, like, cook it, but then you have to clean it up. And it takes me all of maybe 5 minutes to eat it. And it took me, like, 4 hours to do the before and the after. That's the dumbest thing I've ever heard of.
We spend a lot of our time on this.
I would rather read a book or go sit in the sun. I buy the oatmeal with the protein and the little already thing, and I microwave it in the morning.
Perfect.
And then lunch, I microwave, and then a snack, I microwave, and then dinner I don't eat. It's just about numbers. It's just science.
So, do you
So
have
I
like
track the calories. So I'm like, all right. So once I hit it, I'm like, all right, good. I'm done for today.
a cookbook for walk-ins?
I mean, one page.
Yeah.
Because also stuff goes bad in the fridge. So I was wasting money, and I don't like to waste money.
So actually, one of the questions I had for you was, do you have a favorite? Well, what is eating? What is eating like?
I just told you. But it's all about the science.
But so like the pleasure of like the taste. And
sure. If somebody else fixes it, or if I go to a restaurant, yeah, it's good.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay. But I definitely crave. When I first, I very much indulged the first year. I was like, I want Cheetos.
Cosmic being wants the Cheetos.
And you can manifest anything.
Chex Mix.
With DoorDash and Instacart. And I would DoorDash and DQ.
Yeah, you didn't walk into the medieval times. You walked into this time.
I walked into the right time. So I would literally have DoorDash like a big Dairy Queen, like, oh gosh, it was so good. Now it doesn't appeal to me at all. Now I just want like fruits and vegetables. I do remember when my kids were little, I was like, oh my God, you guys want dinner again?
You want dinner again tonight?
Like, what? It'd be 5 o'clock. I was like, I don't know what we're having for dinner.
How old were they? They were like 19, 20 or something when this was going down. So they're like, what happened to mom? Like, she used to cook and now she doesn't know what the fuck to do.
Yeah, I didn't, all of it. And also I think, I'm just not as weighted down by sadness as I used to be.
I see. And when you say you used to be, you mean like your memories of
like
Jamie
old
used to be,
me.
like in the body?
It's very sad. Mm-hmm.
I see.
Mm-hmm.
I see.
Like took medication, like for depression and anxiety and stuff. So this person was on Zoloft, had been on also Wellbutrin, and had recently like upped it because it was, she was really sad.
Okay.
And but had anything since the experience.
Yeah, you didn't need to continue that.
I'm pretty happy.
You mind if I just read off some questions?
Sure, I'll do my best to answer them.
Yeah, awesome. And these are questions just from the comments of the last video and other people that I've talked to. RCH369. I'm curious about the other soul that was Jamie up until 2.5 years ago. Where is she now? Do you ever communicate with her? And did the dumb police ever realize they killed someone, putting them back in the truck upside down?
I didn't really even mention the police, like how that all panned out. It got completely dismissed. Not just dismissed, but like it was erased. Like they shredded everything.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
And I got an apology.
Oh, wow. We're sorry we killed you.
No. It was a different sheriff, and he was like, I'm really sorry for what happened. It was a bunch of young police officers. He heard the call, but was getting off of his shift. And he was like, had I arrived, it would have gone down a lot differently. And I apologize. Wow. And then everything got just shredded. You could go and ask for records and none would exist. I was charged with breaking and entering and resisting arrest. I said, there's no way I'm pleading guilty to any of this. And I will fight to the death. Like gladiator style. And I said, and I demand the camera, the police camera footage of everything.
Yeah.
And then it was amazing. About 20 minutes later, he went and had a talk with someone. They came back. He's like, actually, they're shredding everything, and this will, in 2 weeks, none of this will, it will be as if this never happened. It had to happen just the way it did for me to incarnate in this body. And so I'm grateful for it.
And then it just got to go away.
Yeah, and then it just went away like magic.
You died in the truck and then you came back into your body? Like, what was the moment that you...
Oh, yeah. We didn't talk about that really either. The car door opened and a police officer said, shit, is she breathing? And that's when I went back into the body. And they panicked, and
you, as in, like, that was your first moment in the body.
Well, so like the intertwining I was talking about earlier, like if you watch the video during the kundalini awakening, there was like whoosh, and then intertwining. I would say that like the me now and the me then we were like one. It was like a massive
wow.
That's the only reason this body got up out of the bed. This very passive lady who didn't take up for herself very well. It was both of us.
Okay. I see.
Yeah.
Wow. So when did she swim off, or what did she?
During the near-death experience, so like it was necessary for it to happen for her soul to go out and for me to stay behind. Like there's no, I couldn't, I would have, there's no way you could exist on this planet with two souls at the same time. So it was only necessary to get this body out of the bad situation and to the church, where then it could happen.
Yeah.
The communing with God during the church, the time that I was alone inside the church, kind of settling in with that. And then the near-death experience could happen so that she could leave and I could stay.
So you'd already, like you who I'm talking to right now, you'd already come in and were like entwined, like you said.
Yes, and then we both went back.
You both went back, left the body entirely.
Went like, back. She was like,
I'm chilling.
She's like, yeah, like she was a sad soul. It was a hard life. It was. Yeah. There were a lot of sad things that happened. It was good. It was her time to go on and my time to come in.
So the question is, do you ever communicate with her now?
Okay, so I have a really great story. Last year, I had lunch with my kids. My son was doing this claw machine thing at the end, and they were all just these cheap stuffed animals. And in the center, there was a Webkins. If anybody had children 20 years ago, you would know that was the stuffed animal that all the kids wanted. And it was so weird that there was a Webkins in there. It was in the center. It was kind of piled on everything. And my kids really wanted that Webkins because they hadn't seen one in so many years. And so my son, he got one, cheap one. He went a few times, and he couldn't get it. It was kind of getting more piled under, and you could have been there for a long, long time in the very center. So I go to the bathroom. I come back out. I was gone maybe, a couple of minutes, wash my hands, come out, and my kids are holding the Webkins in their hand. And I was like, at first I got offended. I was like, you got this without me? Because I'm the one who's on the side, like, little to the left, little to the right. You know, that's me. And so they're like, Mom, it was the weirdest thing. We're just standing here, and the machine turned on, and that claw, like, went over directly to the center. And my son tried many times to get the thing. That claw goes, bloop, bloop, and picks it up and drops it. Like, there was nobody using the machine. The machine just turns on.
Yeah.
I think it was...
Yeah, Mama.
Yeah, I do. That's what I think now. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. So I think there are times that she comes back and loves them as much as she can from that side.
Wow.
They're very protected and very loved. She's with them always.
Yeah, I think that's right. Like, so that's what we forget in this dimension, right? Is that we actually are always connected.
Yeah, always connected
to anyone, every
exactly.
direction.
Exactly. And so now they have 2 moms. What a blessing that is. One weird one who's here now. They don't
the weird one and the other one.
And then the normal.
So Patricia Harvey said, what about your children? Do they know who you are? I think we answered that.
I think we answered that.
Thanks, Patricia, for your question.
They do, but like, I haven't labeled it. So
they haven't.
But they know, not because I've told them, but because they just know me so well.
Layla Beal says, hi, thanks for telling us your story. What exactly is the reason you were sent, and who sent you?
I mean, that's something I wonder all the time. Is it just, on a local level? So hard to say. It's only hard to say because it sounds, I don't know. I mean, I think this is the optimal timeline for humanity. And I think that it was important that I step through the tear of, like, the way they tore the fabric of space and time that night.
Ooh.
It's like I brought the rest of us with me into the right timeline, in a way.
The rest of us? What do you mean by that?
I mean, like, anybody... Well, how do I put this? Have you thought the last 2 years are wacky? Do you feel it? Almost like we're in the upside down or something. Do you feel that at all?
Seems like it's just a lot all coming in.
At once, right? Yeah. This is where it all comes together.
Okay.
And
oh man, cool.
Yeah. That's what I think.
Yeah.
But I feel like I'm on a need to know basis, and I don't need to know everything, because if I knew what the last page was written, then I might on purpose try to get myself there. And the best way to get to the
have you all experienced that? My God.
Is just take the next right step.
Yeah. Right.
So I don't want to spoil it for myself by reading the last page of the book.
Yay.
But I will say...
The book's good, right?
Yeah,
it's a good book.
There's a website called doesthedogdie.com. And it's really, so you can go on it and you can just find out without having any spoilers. Before you go see a movie, does a dog die in this movie? Because it's really sad when the dog dies in a movie and you are not prepared for it. Does the dog die in this timeline? No, it all works out. But I don't need to know anything else. But we're all making our way towards that convergence.
That's like that deep trust. And faith, right? Like, there's something bigger and it's in love that's happening. And I don't need to know the end of it. My mind wants to know all the things, but actually it doesn't. Actually, this is actually awesome. And every step of the way leads to a different turn of the miracle.
Yeah, I like that.
I have a YouTube channel. So.
Smart. You should record yourself one day.
Why do you say that? Linda Burton. Hi, Linda. Says, Jamie is so precious and full of fun. I'd love to hear more details on what it's like to be a walk-in. Did she have full comprehension of her job and children and friends, etc.? What exactly does it mean to be a walk-in? We kind of covered this, but anything you want to say to...
I think I have, I wouldn't say a full comprehension, but maybe like, how we talk about like, work on your inner child, talk to your inner child and stuff. Yeah. It's like I just see little inner children walking around.
Oh, yeah.
Instead of like grown-up adults.
Right.
I just
Yes.
see everybody as the child that wants to be loved.
What a blessing. I mean, even like, to me, even in the world stage of politics and these things, like, what is it like to actually see the hurt child in this person and just like, let my heart open?
I mean, if we could just see everybody in that way, you know, because when you see a baby or a little kid, you're so sweet to them because they're little, and then we're still the same on the inside. We just, our outside gets older looking, but we all just really crave love and attention and connection. I think if you can keep your heart open to that, and I don't even think it takes words or actions, oddly enough. I think that sometimes just sending loving thoughts can do a lot when it's someone that might not be like completely open. You know, not everybody wants me to run up and go, "Oh my God, I love you, you're so great." That's kind of weird.
Stop touching me.
Do not touch me. But I can send them love, you know. Oh, and that kind of goes back to Layla Beal's question about what's the reason you were sent, who sent you, whose mission is it?
Yeah.
I think it's just all about just bringing love.
Simple.
I think that's kind of it. It's the whole, it's the whole thing.
Oh.
Yeah.
Eric McClanahan asked, how much body pain have you gone through during the process? And then my follow-up question to that is, what do you make of physical pain? Like being newer to a body.
Interesting question.
Yeah.
Yeah, like during the experience, there was zero pain. I knew I couldn't breathe, but there was no pain associated with any of it. And I really didn't have any pain until probably the next day, because I had been in handcuffs for so long that that my hands were actually really swollen. So that was kind of the first thing. But I think it was important for those kind of sensations simply because I was trying to get used to what it's like to be in a body. And so I think that helped root me into, like, ground me into living in a body in a way that I hadn't lived before.
Yeah.
So I had a lot of pain in the first year or so, and I had hand pain, foot pain, back pain, neck pain. I'm not really in pain anymore now, though. Yeah, interestingly enough. I think it's the more I became comfortable in the body, I was able to, like, settle into the body. I think I was fighting it for so long. I didn't, like, I wanted to be here, but also I didn't want to be here. Or I wanted to be here, but I didn't really necessarily want to be trapped.
Yeah.
Within
I don't want to always be here all the time.
Like,
okay.
What a downer. Where you have to cook meals all the time. So, yeah, but now I'm pretty, I feel happy and grateful. I think talking to you has helped me a lot as well.
Awesome. I'm so
really
glad.
has.
Wow.
Yeah. I feel even changed from just the 6 weeks ago that you and I did the first video.
Wow.
It's like a huge burden has been lifted off of my shoulders telling you.
Oh, thank God. Wow. So happy to be part of your, like,
next
expansion.
I mean, it's the worst thing that I imagine telling anyone, because I thought that I would tell people and then they wouldn't want to, like, be my friend anymore.
Oh, yeah.
And
instead we're getting so much love.
Yeah, exactly. It was not really what I expected. And so it's been very beneficial to me. Thank you. You've handled it with such kindness.
Dana Dari asks, okay, I do have a question. When you say you're busy helping us, what are you doing to help up in heaven?
Well, the memories that I have would be, and again, saying this out loud is uncomfortable to me because it feels like I don't want to be, like, bragging or something, but I'll just say, like, the memories that I had are being, like, more of a guardian. So the way that, you know, I would say that the old Jamie, she's there guiding and helping our children. That's kind of what some of us do when we're no longer in a body, is we are here helping and guiding and guarding towards, you know, the optimal outcome down here. It's such a beautiful planet. There's such beautiful humans here. Humans are worth saving. Even the ones who say I have vocal fry.
I have what?
Vocal fry. Thank you for that comment. Vocal fry.
Who said that?
On the YouTube thing.
What did they say?
He said I have vocal fry. And it hurt my feelings, I'll be honest with you. It did.
Oh,
or I was talking like this or something.
I didn't see that comment.
Oh, yeah. It was like one of the first ones. And I was like, oh, no, I've made a big mistake. But it's okay. It hurt my feelings. It really did. But that's part of being here. And it toughened me up a little. I was like, oof, I gotta be prepared for people to say not nice things. But people did say a lot of nice things. And what I can say to the person who felt like he needed to make a comment like that is that I love you. And it's okay. And you're worth saving as well. It probably doesn't feel that way. So anyone who spends their time making mean, rude comments on social media, I mean, I don't know why they do it, but I will say that, being on the other side of the camera, I mean, I've never done anything like this, really. It's like one of the scariest things to do is to, put your heart out for people. The majority they've been really nice and kind, but they're all worth saving because somewhere someone said something mean to that person who said something mean to me, because hurt people. But it's our responsibility to stop. So if you want the world to be a better place, just stop. Maybe we could all try forgiving karmic debts, not just our own karmic debts, but those of all of us around us. I see an arrow in my mind's eye. When someone shoots an arrow at you, I mean, it hurts. And so generally what we do down here is we pull it out and we're still bleeding, and then we just turn it around and shoot it at someone else. So what we have to do is we have to take on the arrow. When you take it out, you got to break it and drop it. And then you have to work on repairing that wound. And that's, I think that when we talk about incorporating our shadow side, I think personally, I find that that has been misinterpreted. I think some people might think, oh, it's about appreciating the bad stuff too. And yeah, kind of. I think it's more about the responsibility of transmuting your own wounds.
Yeah.
And healing them. And then once you've sat with it long enough, because it takes crying, it takes going back in and thinking about the memories and crying it all out and talking about it with your friends or a therapist or whatever, so that you can take that pain and transform it and make it something beautiful, so that you don't then send that pain on to someone else.
Might be a fun one. Dana Dari also asked, this is about in heaven, are there houses and restaurants and places to go? I don't understand how time doesn't exist there, and I'm sure I'll never understand with my human brain. Anything you can share about the other side, what you do, would be so fun to hear. Are there houses and restaurants?
Not that I remember. It's more like all that stuff exists here. So if you're here helping out, but it's more just energy, And yeah, I don't even know how to explain that time doesn't exist, but it's almost like, okay. It's like going to the library where all the books exist at all the same time. Every story that's been written exists.
Oh, yeah.
And you can go and pick one and hop in.
Oh, cool. Yeah. That's what we just did right now. I just hopped into this moment.
We just hopped into this moment.
Now we're flowing with it.
And I hopped in midway through.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, even right now, we just hopped in, right? This moment.
Sure.
Okay. The Theonesian asked, could you please explain the dream world?
I'll do the best I can. I know this for me. I don't know about for everybody else. But I think we do a lot of work when we are in our dream state, when the body is finally quiet and we can escape it, really. I have a lot of dreams that are precognitive, some like lessons that I needed to know, angel encounters in my dreams, things like that. And so I do think there's a lot of work that we are doing. And I think it just depends on each one of us, what your soul also does when you're not here.
Yeah, so it's unique to each of us.
I think so.
Yeah.
Like,
that
you're
resonates.
probably all doing beautiful things at night. I almost see it as like, I just bought an electric kettle. It's very exciting. Using the Keurig to heat up water for my tea.
Okay.
And then turns out, everybody, this is a PSA. You should clean your Keurig.
This is probably the best part of the interview.
Yeah. I looked in it, and like where the water goes, and it was all this green stuff. I was like, well, that's not healthy. Threw that away, got an electric kettle. And so what I'm seeing is that like during the day, it's kind of like we're the electric kettle, like like it's holding the water. But eventually there's a pressure release that has to happen once. So I think that's what the dream world is, almost like the day is so much pressure on us.
On the body too, the psyche.
Yeah, like in the spirit and the soul. It's like it's the release for our spirit and our soul to like stretch out a little bit. And then we can, all right, we'll go back in.
Melissa Kalmar, who's a friend of mine and lives here. Some questions, I think we covered the first ones, but the last one that we didn't cover is, did you change your name? And if not, why?
No, I did not change my last name when I got divorced. Because I share the same last name as my children, and I did not change the first name this time because that's the name my children know.
Yeah, makes sense. You're not going to go by like Klachnorknias.
Not yet, no.
My true name is Klachnorknias, but you can call me Jamie.
Well, I'm excited to have my alternate name now. You can let me know how it's spelled later.
Cool. It's not easy. A lot of apostrophes.
Oh, gosh.
Backwards R's. Some
So
Russian.
I'm just going to go with Jamie.
Casey Newell asked, is there any way to verify from the outside that you're a walk-in?
To me, the only verification that I would say would be the 3 other walk-ins who said, are you a walk-in? You're a walk-in.
Should we ask the next one? Is there like a soul network or a soul arbiter? Was one soul ready to walk out and post it on Soul Tinder? Did the new soul swipe right on Soul Tinder?
So, no, that's not exactly how it works.
Yeah.
But I would say that, I volunteered for this.
Okay, that piece we haven't heard. Yeah, thank you. Appreciate that.
You're welcome.
Did you want to answer that one, or do we
Which
just
one was it?
It was, we're talking about the Soul Tinder.
Soul Tinder. I would just say that, I'll be honest with you, that question is very disrespectful.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I of course it's not like that.
Yeah.
So I don't really like that question, truthfully.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I wasn't sure if I should,
Oh, it's okay. No, it's fine. It's fine.
Yeah.
It's just, when I was saying that, like, arrows, like, I'm going to pull it out and break it. Like, I don't really, it wasn't asked with an authenticity of, I'm asking this question because I need this answer. And so I think they know that. So it's okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah.
I feel like protective of you too. Like, I should have removed it and filtered it.
I'm glad to say, because I don't use Facebook. I really am not huge into social media because I find that it definitely brings my vibration down.
Yeah.
To see curated pictures of everyone so beautiful and happy, and I'm like, maybe I'm not having as much fun as I should. So I tried to not really use social media at all. So I'm glad. I mean, it's an interesting question. I think that the person perhaps isn't quite ready to hear the answers if they ask that kind of question. But then they said, how does the whole process work on the other side? Is it some kind of multi-dimensional frequency attraction? I don't know. That's like asking, like, the person who is typing that on a computer or on their phone, how does your phone work? I guarantee they can't tell you, but they can use it.
Yeah, cool.
So I wouldn't say that like the sciencey part is really like my stuff. I'm more about like energy and love and light. So I don't know the sciencey part, but maybe it's all that stuff. Maybe in their timeline it's that way. I don't know. And what I've learned is I don't do the things that I don't want to do anymore. So the old me would have made light of it or whatever, not really said anything, but I just don't do that anymore. So I try to be just authentically myself. And if something doesn't sit right with me, I just say it out loud now. I'm not afraid. And I think the last bit that I was so afraid of was this part. But I stepped through that, and you've handled it so kindly. I really appreciate it.
And in a way, we talked about breaking the arrow, and then we had an experience to do it here. So embodiment. Yeah. Kendra Leviton, you asked, after the transition, did you sense something was different, and do you research about walk-ins?
So interesting. Part of my path has been encountering books that just happen to have the next message that I needed, you know?
Yeah.
And so I knew there was a disconnect between the old me and the new me, and I was trying to figure out what was going on, and I'm trying to handle just like the responsibilities of like now I have to pay bills and cook food all the time and go to the grocery store and all this stuff, and at the same time trying to figure out what was going on. And so I just kept reading different books and learning, and then I encountered this book series over the summer. It was like called the Earth Angel Academy, and for the first time I was like, oh, this is interesting. This sounds very similar to what I experienced. And then one of the characters, he the way he incarnated was to be a walk-in. And when I read it, I was like, oh, well, thank you. Like, now I know. Thank you for letting me know. Also, thank you for giving me a few months of being in the body before you actually told me exactly what was going on, because it's all overwhelming.
Yeah.
By the summer, I knew exactly what was going on. But still, to unpack that, it still took a lot of effort. And mostly because I was doing it completely alone. That's really what was so lonely, because I didn't know there were other people who might have gone through something similar. I thought I was like completely alone.
Wow.
So
that makes me really wonder in this moment if there's like someone even watching this video maybe who identifies as that happened to me, or I'm a walk-in and I also have no one around me. Am I crazy? And it makes me want to yes, I connect.
think that's actually why I'm even telling it, because I know there are more people out there like me. It's happening.
It is happening, isn't it?
Sorry, I didn't mean to spit on you.
I didn't feel a fleck, so it's all
I think it's happening. It's gonna start ramping up a little bit more.
Wow. So
we're going to have some new souls come into these adult bodies, and they're going to need help.
Oh, wow.
Yes,
we do. I've been thinking about this for a good while now. Like, what is actually needed? Like, what is wanting to be created for a container and a way for us to walk-ins, people having kundalini awakening experiences. Oh, I remember that I'm this or I'm that, and I'm like so much more. And where do we connect and meet that? So that's life is like keep showing me that. And so for now, I would invite, if you are a walk-in or you have an experience that you want to share and connect with, to send me a message on my website, and we will connect.
And you can't find me anywhere because I'm not selling anything. That's another thing. I don't have a book to promote. I don't have a website to promote.
Right.
I'm not trying to be famous. I just do the next right thing, and I knew talking to you was the next right thing. And part of that is connecting to other walk-ins.
So I noticed in the last video, and not so much today, but you used the word heaven to describe the non-here, where you came from. And I'm curious about that word for you. What is it? Yeah.
That's also something I've struggled with. My research, I think what we consider the angelic realm, I mean, you know, you start getting into like different solar systems of planets and energies. And, you know, I think it's just a very human way to describe like source. And
Yeah.
I don't know.
Okay.
I don't
yeah.
know. I don't. Like, I can only make as much sense out of it that this human brain can handle.
Awesome.
You know? Like,
Yeah.
I'm just as limited,
Yeah.
really.
Okay.
Like, there are things that I know, and I don't know how I know, and I shouldn't know. There are things I know stuff all the time. But, like, trying to describe heaven, it's like trying to describe water to a fish.
It's wet.
No, it's love. You're breathing it in all the time, you know, but you're not even aware of it. But it's also here and there and everywhere, because everywhere is at the same time and in the same place. Like, it's all converging into one, to the singularity almost. We're becoming one organism.
Yes. Yes.
And I think that's the point of all of this, is to come back together, you know, divide and then come back together. Can we do it? I think we're doing it. You know, I'm you, you're me. So anything that I do or say that's unkind to you, I'm hurting me. So I don't want to hurt me. I don't want to hurt anybody else. You know, so we just have to stop hurting everybody. Just be nice. Or not, whatever.
Whatever, yeah.
Have your free will.
It's kinky down here. I think one of the last things I'd like to ask you, just as a human that you are, as a being that you are, like what are some of your favorite experiences that you've enjoyed?
I've done so many fun things. First of all, I have just the greatest group of girlfriends ever, like in the history of girlfriends, and we do fun stuff all the time. And so I've gone dancing, and I've had just, I don't know, like girly things that are fun, you know. I really like being a lady, so, you know, getting like like meeting people out. I would hate to be a man, because that would be really scary to have to ask a woman out. They're really scary.
Sure is.
But it sure is fun for the lady. And just saying yes to the universe. I've had lots of fun experiences. Going to concerts. I saw Billy Strings on Sunday with a friend. And how awesome is it that one man can play the banjo or guitar or whatever he does like that? It's crazy. Have you ever seen Billy Strings?
No.
Amazing. Billy Strings, you're awesome.
Hopefully Billy Strings is watching this right now.
I mean, probably.
Probably by now.
Of course he's going to be watching it eventually. He'll get the shout out. He's like, oh my God, I need to watch this video. And I've gotten to go to California, and I've gone to the beach, and I've got a dog and a cat and my kids, and just beautiful human experiences. And I've cried. Oh, I've had my heart broken. But really also a lot of it is just because we can build stuff up in our minds, but only because we can't read each other's minds yet. Yeah. But I think that's coming.
Thank you. Sound like you're living it up. You're enjoying your experiences.
Yeah, I am. I'm having fun. And I started going to the gym, and that's really fun. I've never really been into doing that. That's also how you know I'm different.
What's that?
Because I can't cook, and I like hiking and going to the gym now.
Every time we had a question open, there was like so many other, we could have just expanded into every question for this whole interview. So just thank you for asking questions. Thank you for answering our questions and for being here with me. Thank you again so much for joining us.
Thanks for having me.
It's been amazing. I love connecting with you, and I'm curious who this will land for and what's next. If you want to watch the original interview, it's going to be right here. And if you want to watch something that's going to be grounding and soothing and connected, then you can check out this video here. And thank you so much. My final invitation is to be exactly in this mundane moment, in this mundane magical moment, looking through eyes of, I'm a soul looking through these eyes, feeling this body, feeling this experience. Here we are.